I'm Jenn Tarbell, and I'm here with Bob Shank and Jim West, and we're going to talk about the Barnabas Group's beginnings, where it is now, and where it's going. So maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about the humble beginnings of Barnabas Group. Where did it all begin 17 years ago?
It was the first quarter of 2000 when Jim and I met. We had just graduated our first wave of participants in the master's program. And Jim and I had this wild idea that we had a growing number of men and women who had become aware of their leadership in the kingdom and the way that their contribution to things that really will matter for eternity could be made. But exposing them to ministries that would understand their value and their contribution was not yet clear.
Well, humble is a good word. When we first started, Jen, it's kind of funny because as I stand on the podium now and I look out over the audience, just like we had this past week, we had 330 people at our last meeting. But in that first meeting, we couldn't have filled 2 tables. I don't think we had 16 people there. And to watch how it's grown is just amazing, and to watch what God's done through the people of the Barnabas Group and the partners, it's just been incredible.
I do, and among Christian leaders, that there's no gathering place for ministries and for marketplace Christian leaders in any part of America that is comparable to what happens with the Barnabas Group. The Orange County Barnabas Group environment is one that will expose you to more of what God's doing in our world than any other single point of connection I know.
Wow. What kinds of things are you hearing from the ministries about the impact that the Barnabas Group is having on them?
Greetings, this is Don Schoendorfer from Free Wheelchair Mission, and was back in April 2002 when I made our first presentation. It was actually the second presentation for Barnabas at the Santa Ana Country Club, and that meeting made all the difference in the world for us. We just got started from a perspective of having a strategic plan, having our first container funded, and having a PR manual put together, all from people in the audience of the Barnabas Group, and they've been supporting us ever since. I dare say if it was not for Barnabas, Free Wheelchair Mission wouldn't exist. It's simple as that. God bless you.
Hi, this is Sean Dunn from Groundwire, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate the Barnabas Group in Orange County. You guys have been a tremendous blessing. As a matter, you have not only been a blessing to us as an organization, but to so many others. You've helped us build capacity. You've helped us refine our messaging. You've helped us build strategy. We picked up board members, and because of you, Groundwire is building the kingdom at ridiculous rates. Right now we're seeing over 100 people a day in the U.S. come to Christ, millennials at that. And I just want to encourage you, you are part of something significant. God has brought you together for such a time as this, and the benefit that you are to the kingdom cannot be explained and will not truly be understood until we get to heaven.
So tell me a little bit about where you guys see the Barnabas Group going in the future. What are your hopes and dreams for where this group has the potential to go?
We've watched our SWAT teams grow. As I mentioned, that this year we've had 12 SWAT team meetings already. We get constant requests for people from ministries that want to have a SWAT team meeting. So how do we expand that? How do we do more of those? How do we do mini SWAT team meetings where we can send 2 people out to sit with the ministry? Maybe it's a half day, but that half day of expertise from those 2 business people can just be a wealth of blessing for that ministry. So we really want to expand that. Another thing that we're working on trying this coming year, and we're excited about it because it will bless not only the ministries, but will bless our members, is a coaching program that Russ Klein is going to be leading. And much like a mini convene or C12, where we have ministries who will pay a fee to come so that they can be in a room 4 times a year and get not only coaching from experts in the field, and some of which will be Barnabas Group members, but also they'll have Barnabas Group members at the table to help facilitate and walk them through that morning's lesson and hopefully walk alongside them. So those are just 3 initiatives that we've got, but we've got lots more.
So let's talk a little bit about the cost of being involved in the Barnabas Group. What was the cost initially for members 17 years ago, and how has that transformed over time to what it is today?
With the expansion of all of the services that are provided to the Barnabas Group and to the Christian community today, what do you ask of partners as they come and join the Barnabas Group?
Today we still ask for that same $1,500 donation, and praise God that we've never been in the red, and we don't want to be. So we're probably going to need to make some adjustments.
What Jim's describing is the fact that in 17 years there has not been an increase in annual pledge by its members or partners to participate in the Barnabas Group. The services have gone explosively, extensively greater every year. And we've already increased the services and have not obtained any additional funding for it.
Yeah. Wow, that's phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about what members can expect, or what partners can expect in terms of the increase.
Well, we've come to the conclusion that we need to do two things, Jen. First, we're going to be increasing the donation for 2018 from $1,500 to $1,860. Sounds like an odd number, but for those that pay monthly, which we have several, it means a $155 a month donation, which is really pretty good for all of the things that we give them.
Yeah.
Or that they get.
Great. So we also talked a lot about the vision of the Barnabas Group and the new things that we want to be doing, both with ministries and with partners and within the community. What kinds of funds do you anticipate needing in order for that to transpire?
It's a good question. We probably need about $120,000 additional monies per year. And as I mentioned, besides increasing the donation, which isn't going to fund all of that, we're asking our partners to prayerfully consider, would they donate above and beyond that? Would they make a 3-year commitment to donate above and beyond that? And we've already talked to a few of the partners, and we've already secured some of that needed additional funding, and we're hoping that other people will step up and provide that as well. So I would ask all partners to really sit down, pray about that, and we'll be just absolutely blessed by anything that they can do.
Jen, I would say it this way. I serve on the board of 14 nonprofit organizations or churches. I'm in touch with the leaders of dozens, scores of ministries around the country. And I will tell you that for bang for buck, there's no more highly leveraged, highly impacting ministry model I know of that could compete with the Barnabas Group. When you look at the size and the scale and the scope of what Jim and the board of the Orange County Barnabas Group are overseeing today, you look at the hundreds of ministries, the hundreds of partner members, the extensive international impact of the ministry that comes from all of that, and you come back to the source and ask, what's the annual budget to make that possible? You will not find a ministry anywhere in America where the impact per dollar exceeds that of the Barnabas Group. And it's because it's a minimal amount of money to harvest and to harness the incredible power of our partner members who come in on a pro bono, pledged to God's kingdom to be funded at the second coming. Boy, it's a great thing when you can get an army that is dispatched with the special forces at the front edge. Those are the Barnabas partners. And they're doing it with the promise of a recompense to come. Boy, when you can mobilize an army like that, the leverage of the budget becomes unbelievable. And what the Orange County Barnabas Group is able to do with that funding that is obtained from its members can't be explained apart from God.
So you guys have been around the Barnabas Group since its inception, obviously, and I'm sure you've heard tons of stories of transformation, both from ministries, the people that ministries are serving, and then also from the partners themselves. So maybe you guys can share some of the stories of transformation that you guys have heard.
I just got an email right before we started this interview from an ex-Barnabas Group member who is now back in the master's program. And he shared with me that through his time in the master's program in the Barnabas Group, that he is now devoting his services as the CFO for ministries so that he can help them have a full-scale, CFO on board. And that's just amazing. I think I mentioned the story to you a while ago. We had a gentleman who came and presented a few years ago, and he did a good job. Not a great job, but a good job. About 2 weeks later, one of his staff who had called me and said that he had been laid off because unfortunately they were unable to meet the payroll. About a week later, he called me again and said, you know what, I'm back. And I said, really? I said, that's great. And he said, well, I'm back because of the Barnabas Group. Someone who was a guest at the Barnabas Group, who's never become a member, but was a guest, gave them a check for $100,000. And I still to this day don't know who that guest was. They didn't even sign up on the RSVP list. So that's kind of how God works. You know, Jen, I try very hard to hold the Barnabas Group with loose hands. And a lot of the ideas that we have come from our members. And when a member comes to me and has an idea that they want to run with, that they want to be able to, lead, and we think it's a good idea, we are just thrilled to let them, take a try and see if it works. If it works, great, we'll do more of it. If it doesn't, then we'll, try something else. And that's always been our goal. One of the things I want you to leave with today is I want to thank you for being a Barnabas Group partner. All of this couldn't have been done without you. I want you to know today that we will be increasing the suggested minimum donation from $1,500 to $1,860 beginning in January of 2018. I'd also like to ask you if you would please prayerfully consider an additional 3-year commitment to the Barnabas Group. That will allow us to continue with the initiatives that we want to try, which will bless not only our members, but will bless our ministries. I'd ask that you would please get back to me with this information by November 15th of 2017 so that we can plan for the coming year. Thanks very much for taking this leap of faith with me. We are very excited to see what God's going to do through you and the Barnabas Group in coming years.